chapter on embracing all. Swamishri did not temper his interactions based on a person's perceived societal value and utility. Rather, he treated one and all the same. Swamishri had just arrived in Sankri, a small village in southern Gujarat. Though Swamishri did not think much of it, the community is fond of this tiny town, for it was here that Swamishri built his first, albeit small, traditional stone mandir after becoming guru in 1971. Swamishri had a hectic day planned with hundreds of bhaktas, devotees, visiting him from the nearby city of Surat and the smaller farming villages around Sankri. Despite the crowd of well-wishers, Lalu was on Swamishri's mind. Lalu was a former house attendant at a bhakta's home in the village. Swamishri had already told Somabhai to take care of Lalu, but that was not enough. Swamishri wanted to meet him. He spent the entire day trying to move things along so that he could meet Lalu. He asked Prabhu Swarupdas Swami, the local administrative lead, to organize a visit to Lalu's house. The sadhu knew that Swamishri would not make it to and from that part of the village in the short amount of time available. He reached out to Somabhai and organized to have Lalu brought to his home. Right before the evening sabha assembly, the Guru stole away to Somabhai's house to meet this tribal devotee. Lalu had never worked for the mandir, nor contributed in any meaningful way to the mandir's activities or initiatives. That was not of consequence, though, at least in Swamishri's mind. He knew that it would be more valuable if he gave the bhakta, the devotee, darshan, a witnessing presence, one last time. Swamishri caressed Lalu's forehead and reassured him in a soothing voice. "I am here, Lalu. You are going to be okay. You are true bhakta of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Stay strong and remember him. Chant the Swaminarayan mantra when you are in pain or agony. He will take good care of you and provide you with the strength to face this physical pain." Lalu's body was emaciated and his sight had deteriorated, but Swamishri's pacifying voice and touch were familiar. He felt calm and at peace. He could barely speak and bring his hands together to say Jai Swaminarayan to Swamishri. As he was leaving Somabhai's house, Swamishri turned to the lead sadhu and said, "We are all he has. Please take care of him as you would serve me. Feed him, order his medication, and spend time with him. Comfort him. He is a great bhakta." Swamishri was available and accessible to bhaktas from all social backgrounds. Swamishri was celebrating the Dev Diwali festival in Bochasan. The festival ended with a puja ritual that ran on well into the afternoon and was followed by a lengthy line of a few thousand bhaktas wanting to personally meet Swamishri. By the time Swamishri reached his room for lunch and a short nap, it was 2:30 p.m. The personal attendants switched the lights off and were able to close the doors when a group of Dalit bhaktas from a neighboring village came to meet Swamishri with a humble garland. The sadhus were not keen to trouble him for it. "He has just gone to bed. Why don't you try it after a few hours?" Swamishri's voice could then be heard from inside. "Bring them in. I am still awake." Swamishri arose from his bed and welcomed the bhaktas with open arms and a warm smile. He wasn't the last bit tired or bothered. This opportunity meant so much to the bhaktas, and Swamishri was happy to oblige. On their way out, the bhaktas heard Swamishri call out to them, And next time, do not spend your hard-earned money on garlands. I can sense your love from your presence alone. Save money, educate our children, live a healthy and moral life. That is all, please. To embrace all is to do so at their convenience and without wanting anything in return. Not only did Swamishri welcome bhaktas from various backgrounds, but he also went to their villages. Swamishri visited innumerable homes, listened to their difficulties, and learned about the problems they faced. He stressed values and education as a way to curb the damage caused to homes and families by substance abuse and domestic violence. Swamishri was mindful of helping people preserve their own unique identities while moving away from generational patterns of abuse and hurt. This, in turn, benefited the greater community over the next generation. Swamishri did not visit their homes to take, but to give. Swamishri arrived in Sandesar one morning and had visited the straw huts of more than 50 families. He sat on the floor or on a small stool while encouraging children to pursue an education. After the home visits, the local Dalit bhaktas expressed their bhakti, their loving devotion, for Swamishri by organizing a satsang sabha in the courtyard in between all of the huts. It was a small but well-lit courtyard. The bhaktas had built a simple tent, ornately decorated with colorful, dangling ornaments and streamers. Swamishri walked into the courtyard to a beautiful dance by the bhaktas. Their bhakti was on full display. Swamishri addressed the assembly. I feel like I am in Akshardham, the abode of God. You have created such a welcoming atmosphere for me here. I fit right in here with all of you. The bhaktas were overjoyed. They had never welcomed a religious leader in their community until now. They cheered Swamishri's comments about them. Swamishri then turned serious. I want to speak to you about all this fanfare. There is no need to set up tents and spend money on decorations. Please save that money and spend it on your children. I am not a VIP that needs or expects a welcome party of this sort. The greatest gift for me is to be here with all of you. If you want to give me something, give me your vices, addictions, and substance abuse issues. Alcohol abuse can destroy our bodies and families. Give up substance abuse. Treat your partners and your children well. This is all I want from you. And that truly was all he wanted. Swamishri visited the Dalit colonies around the cities and villages in Gujarat. By the way, Dalit is a more modern term for a less respectful term that has been used to repress people in Indian societies. So this chapter is a lot about the outcasts of society. And that is why a lot of the stories in this section is about welcoming Swamishri because they never had the opportunity to, because religious leaders would stay away from them. They were called the untouchables of society. No one wanted to go near them. And it is also why he is telling them not to spend so much money on welcoming me, because you all have a lot of financial problems and also problems with addiction. So he's talking a lot to this kind of group of people. And each time the residents were surprised by the time and energy Swamishri invested. No other Hindu guru has visited our colonies and huts. Many have invited us to meet them elsewhere, but they have not come to our homes to see how we live. Pramukh Swami Maharaj came to us. He graced our homes, he sat with us, accepted our offerings, and made us feel like we were part of his family, said a leader of the tribal community in the village of Poshina. By the way, this village of Poshina, where a lot of tribal communities live, all the proceeds of this book go towards that. Swamishri was unassuming He sat on old tin barrels or on straw mats in the cowshed on his visits, and when necessary even waded through mud puddles. What a wonderful section this is, but I'd like to save all this goodness for the next time we read, so I thank you all for listening with me.